Hi, it's Megan from Sew and Tell Australia. I am one of the ambassadors on Love Notion's amazing ambassador team, and I'm jumping on their channel this week to speak about this week's Feature Friday pattern, the Whistler Pullover and Hoodie. I'm going to be taking you through all the different options and why I think this is a pattern that you're going to want to make over and over again. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Megan, and if you can't tell by my accent, I hail from the land down under. G'day, mate. I'm a mum of two, wife, and a passionate sewer who just loves teaching others how to sew and feel great in the clothes they make, especially ones that make you feel and look incredible, which is a big reason why I love Love Notions. I've been sewing for over 20 years, so my mum taught me when I was a little girl, so I'm pretty comfortable sewing most things, but I know that's not the case for everybody. This pattern is aimed at more of an intermediate level, but I think if you take things slow and you read all the instructions and take advantage of all the different things that Love Notions have to offer in terms of help, then I really think that this is something that most people could probably make. So let's dive into this pattern. Let me take you through all the different bits and pieces and let me help alleviate any fears you might have so that you too can make a gorgeous Whistler pullover. So this is a looser fit pullover and it's got a really great inset yoke feature. It comes in sizes extra small and it goes right up to a 5X, which is a bust of up to 57.5 inches and hips up to 59.5, which is something I really love about Love Notions patterns, is their size range. It's designed for medium to heavyweight knits with at least 25% stretch. So you could use something like a microfleece, a French terry, a ponte, sweater knits, and even double knits. You can also use a cotton lycra or even a bamboo lycra if you wanted sort of a lighter fit, a lighter option for maybe those fringe seasons, but it's really quite a versatile pattern. Let's take a look at some of the different options that are available with the Whistler. So you can choose between the shawl or the shawl collar or hoodie option. And this is the part that I actually really like about this pattern. With the inset yoke, it gives you a lot of freedom to be able to mix and match colors, mix and match prints with solids, and really give it that sort of flair and your own style to really make it your own. You can make some really beautiful combinations. Some of the tester picks looked so lovely and had coordinating options that just really stood out and looked amazing, I thought. So I chose mine to do the all-in-one color. I chose a really beautiful green color, like a sort of olive mossy green with the shawl option, but I'm already planning another one with a few different combinations. So the Whistler pullover also has inseam pockets. So I don't know about you, but it ain't a pullover if it doesn't have pockets. And I am a huge fan of pockets. So that was a big yes from me. Everything I wear has to have pockets. So, you know, I always need to have somewhere to put my hands or my keys or my wallet or my phone, so pockets was a must for me. With the hems, there's a banded hem, a straight hem, or a curved hem. There's actually 3 different lengths you can choose from as well. There's a shirt length, a tunic length, and a dress length, which I think really makes it versatile again. You know, you can wear it in the fringe seasons, or you could even hack the sleeves to be shorter and wear it as something in summer. I'm a big fan of the tunic length, which is what I did. And it means you can sort of chuck it over some leggings and wear it sort of in a fringe season as well. So a couple of the options that I also wanted to point out was the choice between the gathered front and the flat front under the yoke. What I loved about this was that it was easy to be used for a maternity option. The gathered option meant that, you know, you could get a little bit more movement in there if you were pregnant, or if you're like me and you're a little bit self-conscious of your mum tum, it meant that it just gave it a little bit more room to skim over those unflattering areas and helped me feel a little bit more confident while I was wearing it. Lastly, there is the button detail, or you could use snaps as well. I guess you could leave it without if you wanted as well. I would probably just wear like a little cami or a singlet underneath, because it could gape quite a little bit. But if you wanted a really looser looking fit, you could definitely leave it open. But you know, the bonus with the buttons is that it ends just below the bust, which means it's really great for beyond maternity as well, for feeding. So any of those feeding mamas, you know, you can use this one as a feeding top. And I don't know about you, but when I was having my babies, there wasn't a lot of maternity and nursing friendly things that were fashionable, so I had to make a lot of my own, and the Whistler is such a great one for that. I'm going to take you through a few of the tools you're going to need to make the Whistler pullover. So I used my Baby Lock Acclaim, which is a serger. It's not necessary to use a serger, but I definitely think it makes it easier. If you don't have a serger, you can use your normal machine and use either a lightning, zigzag, or an overcast stitch. A lot of machines have that, and a lot of machines have at least a zigzag stitch. If you want a really nice clean finish, I definitely recommend using your serger. I'm a big fan of changing out the threads as well to match the color that you're making, but that's just me. I know a lot of people just use white or black. I also used my cover stitch to do the hems, but you can use a twin needle as well, which you can use on your normal machine. The other things you'll need is some interfacing. Now you can either use fusible or sew-in. That is for the button placket part. If you don't use interfacing, you can run the risk of your machine sort of eating your material as you're doing your button placket. It's really important to make sure you stabilize the backs of those seams and just give it a really good solid ground to work with. The other thing you're going to need is some tailor's chalk or a friction pen, like a air erasable or warm erasable marker. With this pattern being an intermediate, there are a few steps that are a little bit more tricky than others, and it's really important to make sure that you transfer all those markings that are on the pattern, so that when it comes to putting it together, you just make your life that little bit easier, getting to match it all up, and you'll get a better result. So definitely investing in a good piece of tailor's chalk or air erasable or friction pen. It'll be your best friend when you're trying to put it all together. And then your general coordinating threads and appropriate needles. As this is an intermediate pattern, as I've mentioned, there are a couple of steps that you might find a little bit tricky. But the instructions are so well written, it really is quite easy to follow along. I'll go through a bit of the basic process to point out some more of the challenging areas, but honestly, give it a go. I reckon you can do it. So I use a projector to cut out all my pieces. I had to mix 2 sizes because I'm between 2 sizes. I used the XL for the top and a 2XL from sort of my waist out to my hips. My fave thing about Love Notions is that they have the full bust adjusted pieces already done. I am a larger busted girl, so for me that is just one less step that I have to go through, and I'm so thankful that they have those pieces. I was using the shawl option for my make, and that's where the pattern had me starting, was putting the shawl together, which was really easy to do. And then once I got the shawl together, I actually ended up taking a photo and posting it to my social media because it has the buttons, and I wasn't sure which buttons I wanted to choose. I had a lot to choose from, and I put a photo up with a couple of different options, and I let my followers decide which ones that I was going to use. So they chose option A, which I was pretty happy with because I liked option A, so that gave me the chance to put those on there. Now I know buttonholes can be a little bit tricky for some people, so Love Notions do actually have a tutorial on how to make the button placket or the button holes. I'll link that one in the description below, but Tessa has done it in her Presto Tunic tutorial, and it's really simple, and most modern machines these days have an automatic buttonhole maker foot, so it really is a lot easier to make buttonholes these days. Don't be afraid of the buttonholes, I promise, especially if you use interfacing, you can get them done. Practice and I think you'll be okay. Next was doing the gathered or flat front. So if you did the flat front, it was really easy. The gathered front was really easy. I just sewed 2 lines of basting stitches along the top, gathered it to match my shawl, and then I put it all together and attached it. And then attaching the front and back pieces was also pretty straightforward, and I think most people could do it. So by far the trickiest bit, and I say trickiest bit, was step 12, which is where you attach the front piece to your front, and it was just a little bit tricky with how you've got to get your head around how it all comes together and the shawl and those. In the instructions it is very well written and the pictures are very detailed. However, I think if you're not familiar with pattern construction, it can be a little bit confusing. Never fear, Tessa and Tammy have got you covered, and they have a full tutorial on the Whistler pullover. So if you're struggling with any parts of those steps, it's linked in the pattern instructions. You can go straight to their YouTube website and it will show you how to put it all together. This is where those notches really come into play as well, when you're putting the pockets together and attaching all the shawl part. So as long as you are following those instructions and getting help if needed with the tutorial, I really think that you can put it together pretty easily after that. So the rest came together super easily. Attach a couple of arms, sew down the sides. I finished mine off with my cover stitch because I did a curved hem along the bottom, not a banded, and then I just got straight to wearing it. So let's take a look at my Whistler pullover on me, and I can take you through a few of the details and point out a few of the things that I really love about it. And here it is. I'm sure I probably teased you with enough pictures by now. Here is my completed Whistler pullover. So I'm so happy with everything about this make. It really came together quite beautifully, from choosing the buttons, which my followers helped me do, right down to the pockets. I'm really happy with how the pockets sit. They're quite a good size. I think you can fit your phone, which is always really handy. Although I do tend to not try to put too much in pockets like this because it does pull them down a little bit. The other thing I really like about this is the shawl feature. It comes together quite nicely and it sits really beautifully, so I'm quite happy with this. I made mine from a waffle knit, I think I mentioned it earlier, from Lush Fabrics Australia. It's really beautiful and warm, so I'll be able to wear this one in winter. It's actually summer here at the moment, so I'm getting my winter sewing in early, but it's got a lovely brushed back to it, so it's going to be so nice when I'm wearing it in winter. As you can see, I've paired it with some leggings, which I think looks really good, but I equally think it would look good with some jeans or even some sort of shorter cut-off leggings with maybe some heels. You could dress it up a little bit, and you could probably even put a belt in here if you wanted to. I've not tried it, but you might be able to do that. And then I've got some boots that I've paired it with, which I think the brown kind of ties in with the buttons. It's just a really nice look. Then for jewelry, I went quite simple. I've just got some hoop earrings and I've paired it with a nice little pendant I've got. So I think anything that any jewelry that's going to sit sort of in the hollow here is going to look quite nice with it. But yeah, I'm very, very happy. The back is very simple. It covers right down over my bottom, so feels nice and secure. And like I mentioned, it's quite flattering over the tummy area. And I probably didn't need to do the gathered front, but I liked it as just an extra feature. I thought it was quite nice, but I feel very comfortable wearing this, and I don't feel like I'm too bulgy or just unflattering. So I'm very, very happy with this in general. When I make it again, I might actually even try hacking it with shorter sleeves and maybe in like a bamboo lycra or a cotton lycra, something that is a little bit more summery, and trying even the shirt length, because I think this could look quite nice in the shirt length over a pair of jeans or even shorts, and maybe even trying to hack out the pockets just to have that, still that look of the sort of blocking, but maybe not to have the pockets if I was going to wear it as a shirt. But so many versatile options for this. I also have thought about doing one in a French terry with the hood, because I think, yeah, it's just, this yoke inset is really such a beautiful feature, and one that you can add, you know, your color blocking, or you could do pattern in here. I saw one of the tester photos also had on the inside, they had a different color of their yoke, of their shawl, sorry. So lots of different options with this one. And I'm just so happy with how I look. So that's my pattern review on the Whistler pullover and tunic, this week's $5 feature pattern on Love Notions. Make sure you check it out on their website and grab it this week for $5. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. And like I said, you could always hack it to have short sleeves and wear it in summer, use it in a cotton lycra. There's so many different options and variations you can make to this pattern. You can find me on all the socials. I'm on Instagram at SewAndTellAU. I'm on Facebook, Sew and Tell Australia. I'm on TikTok, Sew and Tell Australia again, I think. And I've got my website, sewandtell.com.au, and my YouTube, Sew and Tell Australia as well. So you can find me on all the socials. I do lots of different reviews and patterns, and I just love working with Love Notions. So enjoy this week's Whistler pattern. I can't wait to see what you make. Tag me on the socials. I'd love to see your versions, and I hope you found this really interesting. See you later.